Hi everybody, today we're going to have a look at the awning on the T7 California. So the awning comes standard on all the range, so whether you're looking at the beach, the coast or the ocean, you get there. The only choice you do have is you can have it on either side of the actual vehicle as well. So for example, the one behind me here is on the driver's side, which is an option, or as standard, for example, on the vehicle that's just to my other side here, it's on the passenger side. So as standard it would come on the passenger side, and you can opt to have it if you want it on the driver's side, like the one that's behind me here. So you've got a choice of either side depending on where you want it to go. So today we're going to show you how it works, how it comes out. For example, it's there. It's exactly the same as in the previous models that we've got as far as how the awning works. They're all pretty much the same from on there, but there are a few differences to this one. One being where the pole is located, which is on there, which I really like on this because it's not in the vehicle, so you don't have to go scrambling around for it. You always know it's on the outside of the vehicle. So let's have a quick look at the awning before we actually get it out. So obviously this awning goes all the length of the vehicle that's here. New for T7 California is the ability to take this off, quite quick and simple. So you get 3 keys with it. You need those keys for 2 things. So there's a key lock here, there's one at the other end, and these allow you to actually lift the awning rail off, which we are going to do later on. I'm going to show you how that actually just lifts off the brackets, and that would then allow you then to take those brackets off and actually remove the awning completely. So for example, say in winter, if this is your only vehicle and you're only using it for that, you could, for example, take this awning off when you're not using it. You could store it somewhere, for example, then you could put it back on at different times of the year. Now, lots of you have asked me about this awning, whether you can have it on the other side, whether, for example, you could take this one on here and put it on the other side and vice versa. And we're going to answer those questions today. We're going to have a look at the brackets, etc. I'm going to show you how it actually connects onto the vehicle, and then I'll give you my lowdown on what you can and can't do, whether you could add one to the other side, etc. as well. So we'll get into that. But before we do any of that, let's actually look at the awning. Let's have how it comes out and how that operation works. So as I said, the vehicle comes with, we get 3 keys with the vehicle. They're all exactly the same that's there. And those keys are for one for there, one for in the end over there, but also to get the actual awning rail out so you can actually wind this thing out. And it's a very, very clever way to look at it. I'll show you on the side here. It's got a little picture here which is basically saying to take the end cap off. So that piece here comes up. So I'll put that back on again for a minute. So basically, it's a bit difficult doing it this way, but I'll show it from on here. So if you put your hands there, just pull it up and that just moves out of the way. And then you can see we've got a key bit in there. So if you put the key into there and twist it and then give it a pull, it will be a bit stiff, especially the first time. Then pull this out and voila, there is your awning rail. So just do that and that with it. That obviously goes in the side here then. So around the back, got a connector that goes into the back that's in there. And then we can, as we've with the previous ones, just wind it out a little bit. We will notice, if we have a look, so here we've got maximum without any support of 0.5 metre to come out. So probably about where we are now, that's there. And at that point then we need to obviously put the legs down. Now the legs are actually inside this bit here, so we just lift this up and then the legs spring out. So we just give it a quick push and the leg comes out as such, like that. Comes out, bring it down to here, and then with this bit here, flappy bit, take that up and just pop that into place so that it gives you a support. And then we can do exactly the same thing with the other side. It's down there. So just pull that cap up and just give it a pull that's on there, and that locks into place. Then obviously this now is supported by these legs, so you can continue moving it out. If I get my awning a bit here and just give it another, wind it out a little bit more. I'll come and grab hold of this a minute and just move these legs out a bit. Then come back and carry on winding it a bit more. There we go. This is pretty much as far as it goes. So that's at its maximum, so I'll just put these legs about where they need to be. And then this is very floppy now, that's up here. So to tighten this back up again, you can just turn back ever so slightly on the handle, and you might now see that it's now just raised itself ever so slightly off here, and that's the awning. Now obviously I've done that on my own. If there's two there, it's far easier, because one person can hold the middle bit here while one person's winding, so you literally just wind, and then you're in one place. It was a lot easier with two people. As I've demonstrated, it can be very easy to do it with just one person as well. This awning can be anywhere along here, so it doesn't have to be at its full length as it is now. You can have it, for example, here. So I was away recently, I've got a gazebo that goes on the side of the thing, so I had it right up to the gazebo. It was only out this far just to stop the rain, but obviously you can have it out all the way as well. What's great with these awnings as well is there's lots of things that you can get as attachments if you want. So for example, you can get ones that attach from the side here to give you a bit more sun canopy if you want to on there. You've got sides that you can put on. If I get a chance to get one of those somewhere, I can give you a demonstration of how that works, but that will be in a future video. So we've just got the chairs out, just to give you an idea on the size, put things into perspective. We'll be doing a video as well very shortly looking at the chairs and the table, because there are some differences with these as well, and show you how they go back in the vehicle and all that kind of stuff. Now, on a day like today, it's lovely, there's no wind, etc. This is perfectly fine to have this out as it is, that's on here. I would still advise to put at least one tent peg in both sides, in both feet, and the reason for that is if somebody walks along here and accidentally kicked that, for example, by mistake, or somebody ran past it, obviously this will put a lot of weight then on that side of the awning, so to protect it. So definitely worth doing that as well. And then you can also get for these tie downs as well, which if you're going to use in the awning a lot, for example, you want to leave it up at night or something like that, definitely worth an investment for getting on those. And those tie downs, they come in two different formats. You can get ones which go into this rail, and it's worth us talking about this rail while we're on this subject. So in here is your awning rail, which is just this little bit here. If you've got a driveway awning, for example, this is where it would lock into on the vehicle. So obviously it'd probably be nearer that way, but you can pop it into there. You can get the tie downs that slot into there as well, and then the guide rope will go off, for example, this way here. There are other ones as well which lock into the feet. It's here, and then they can go off to the side or to the front. And again, so that gives you more of a stability on this to keep this down. Now, me personally, when I put these out, I've got some screw-in tent pegs, mainly because a lot of the time now I tend to find that I'm on a gravel pitch. If I'm camping somewhere, for example, and tent pegs just don't easier to get in. So I've got some driven in pegs which I can put which I tend to put next to where the legs are. So if I can put it away quickly, for example, then I just tie the leg to that. So I'll drill that into the ground because it goes in nice and easy, because it's obviously just a screw that goes into the ground, so it'll move things away as it goes in. It gives it a nice secure fitting that's in there, and obviously then you know, for example, this isn't going anywhere. If it is windy and you think it's too windy, put this away, because the last thing you want for any reason is for this to get damaged because it's been really windy. There's no need for us to talk about wind speed, because if you're on a campsite, you're not going to have any way of knowing what the wind speed is anyway. But obviously, if it's blowing a real gale, put this away, put it back into the vehicle, and then you know you're going to be perfectly fine. Now, I do occasionally get comments about how would you clean this, for example, that's in here. So a couple of good little tips for you as well. If you have been away, for example, in the vehicle, and then you roll it back in, it's definitely worth every now and again rolling it back out, because obviously if it gets wet inside the casing, or it's wet when you put it away, and then you can just give it a nice big wipe around to get it off from on here. I just use a normal cleaner for this, that I would do from a spray bottle cleaner. That tends to get most of the stuff out. The material just feels slightly different, this material, than the previous one that's in there. It looks very similar from on it as well, but they do clean up very easily. If you get any stains or marks, it's on there as well. Obviously you can use a slightly stronger cleaner if you need to, if there's some stubborn marks, it's on there. But as with all those things, if you're going to do that, you need to do it in a test place, to do it somewhere, for example, that you can't see, that's right at the back. Right, let's show you how it all goes away. So we're just going to do it bit by bit. So there we go. And come and grab that. There we go. And one more. There we go, we're back to about 1/2 metre. So I'll start with this leg on here to make it easier. So obviously just need to pull that catch down, so that's out of the way. Pull the leg back up in, pull it round and then just push that back a little bit, and then that will then fold up and lock in place in there. Do exactly the same with the other one. And wind it back in. Now, as I mentioned before about drive-away awnings, for example, if you were to have a drive-away awning, what you would tend to do is you tend to have it out here, for example, and you could connect your drive-away awning on the strip, so you've got your strip part of it that's attached, and then obviously then you can just wind it back in, and you'd have your strip bit coming out, and you can adjust that depending on what you've got on the side of it. So this is the end of the actual awning attachment itself, and that goes straight into the hole here, and that just goes in there, and then obviously we're winding it around or back again, that's in there as well. A couple of things just to point out as well is we've got stickers, warning stickers under here, obviously just letting us know about the doors, so make sure your doors are shut as you're winding these in and out. And then rather than just throwing this in the vehicle, this then goes back in the holder at the end, so just slide that in there, find the right hole, twist the key, take the key out, and then pop this back on the end, and all done. So last bit now, we're talking about how we actually remove this and bring it off from the side. So we need the keys for that. You do need two people for this. You can't really take this off, I don't think, on your own. So you put your key in there and then twist that so that mechanism is open. You can see that now, you can push that and that will move up. So that locking mechanism, that now is in the lock position if it's not going anywhere. So if you ever do remove one of these and you put it back, you must make sure that is locked before you actually drive anywhere that's on there. But again, with it in this section now, if that was like that there and it was out, you can't take the key out anyways. So we put the key in here, twist the key, that obviously releases this mechanism then, so you can do that and then push that back up. So once that's out the way, then this, well then if I just push it up, you can see that's removed off there. And attached to there is obviously, this is the awning, and you've got your rubber strip, which is what stops the water coming down from the side. You could do this on the other end then, and you could lift this whole unit off, and you'll only be left with these brackets. Okay, so on this side, now that's released, pull that up. Let's give this a pull. My glamorous assistant Jack here is helping me, so we'll move that over. Let's just go and pop that between the seats for a minute. There we go, so that's on there. So now we can see on here, we've just got our two brackets remaining. So this is on one side and on the other, and those brackets are done by two bolts at the top. So there's two bolts here which are holding it into the plate, and then these two screws here are just affixing it so it's in the right place actually on the awning. So if you did want to remove it, as we've just removed now, obviously you'd need to remove these brackets as well. So I think probably out of all the T7 California owners that there are going to be, which there's going to be a lot of you eventually, I think probably 1% of you maybe might actually take this awning rail off. I don't know really why you would want to take it off really. As I said, you might want to be using your vehicle for longer journeys, or it's something that it came with the vehicle but you just don't use it and you've got something else that you put on the side of it and you just want to store it, for example. So I think you'll probably take it off once, probably leave it off, or you might do it once a year or something like that. But as I said, you had lots of questions about it. You can do it. It's as easy as that. You take those two bolts off, that comes off, that will allow you to slide it, for example, and you can pull it out. You don't even have to take these all the way out, you can just slide them out from those bolts. So it's nice and easy for that to come off. Obviously it's back on now. Before you go anywhere though, you need to make sure you've got your keys in your hand, and these are definitely locked back in place. As I said, I think probably 1% of California owners are actually going to take this off. Now, one of the biggest questions I get off of this awning, and we mentioned it earlier on in the video, is about whether or not you can put this on the other side. And the simple answer to that is no. However, you can put an awning on the other side, but these awnings, there's two variations of them. So this awning that's on this vehicle and the awning that's over there are two separate parts. And you'll see that because, for example, if this was on the other side, it would be the other way around. And obviously your winder thing would be at the front, but where the brackets are, it wouldn't be in the right place actually on the vehicle completely. So you 100% will need another awning if you wanted to put it on the other side. So if you've got one on this side, you want to put it on the other side, it can be done, but you'd obviously have to buy the awning. Question, would you have two awnings? Could you have two? Could you have one on this side and one on the other side? The answer to that is yes, you could. I'm not sure what the implications are of that. I'm not sure whether you would want two awnings on the side of it. Not sure how it would look having two on the other side of it. But technically speaking, yes, it can be done. Obviously, I've no idea how much one of these is. I would imagine it will be very expensive. And obviously you need the brackets as well, probably to go with it, to put those on as well. So that's answered all those questions because I've had lots of them regarding it. So to clarify that is yes, obviously you can have one on either side, but they are two separate parts. That's the important thing to do. So you can't just swap this over onto the other side and just make it work. Right, that's everything to do with the awning. We've been through how you wind it out, how you put it back in, where you get your pole from, all that good stuff as well. Remembering about securing the legs, for example, we talked about those as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have, give us a thumbs up and give us a like. And if you want to see more content like this, as always, make sure you're subscribed. That really does help us out with the channel. It means we know we're putting the right kind of things on that you want to see as well. And we'll see you next time.